If you're a Nintendo 64 collector, there's a pretty good chance you already have one of these. And if you bought an Analogue 3D recently, you're probably aware it's a little bit of a problem. At some point you probably said to yourself, I'd really like to play Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut 63 1/3 or Super Bowling or any other rare Nintendo 64 game, but I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars for the privilege. And if that's the case, you bought an EverDrive 64 from Krikzz or through a retailer that carries his products like Stone Age Gamer, but then you discovered if you bought an Analogue 3D that your EverDrive 64 no longer works, meaning you don't have access to those games. Well, Krikzz has released an update that will enable you to use the EverDrive 64 on your Analogue 3D, and today I'm going to walk you through those steps and show you how to get it updated. Okay, so according to Krikzz, our very first step is to update the EverDrive 64 to the latest operating system, which I will click on his link, and there's the data we need to put on the SD card. So take your EverDrive and pop the SD card out, and then you'll need a micro SD adapter, and you'll put this into your MacBook or PC and put this folder on your micro SD card, and then put it back in your EverDrive 64 and put it in your Nintendo 64 and turn it on to update it, like so. Alright, so we're now on the latest firmware, 3.09. And the next step is to install a bootloader, and he provides this file on his website. I'll link to it in the description of this video, but he says run it on an original N64, and it's in my fantastic N64 orange color. In the cartridge menu, select the boot ROM V05B464. When the installer screen opens, press Start to begin the installation. So, unless I'm mistaken, the EverDrive 64 should now work in an actual Analogue 3D. So as you can see, we now have a working EverDrive menu, and everything that was available to me before on Nintendo 64 is now available to me on Analogue 3D, including the games that came from Stone Age Gamer when I bought it, like 40 Winks, Glover, Milo's Astro Lanes, Starshot, and Wetrix. But I also want to go to my own backups. As you can see, I have quite a few here, and this is what some people really want the EverDrive 64 for, is this ability to play their entire library without having to pull out every physical cartridge. Or maybe they're interested in something that's really expensive and hard to come by, and they want to try it before they spend hundreds of dollars to buy it. So there are lots of good things you can do with an EverDrive 64, and now that functionality has been unlocked thanks to an excellent update by Krikzz. It's now all available to you. Now, Clay Fighter is not a great game, whether it's the original or the more expensive Sculptor's Cut. There are better fighting games you can play than this, but the point is, you're able to play them now, which is better than not being able to play them at all. So you have access to the full Nintendo 64 library, and you can play whatever you want. Let's go with one I enjoy. I'll even adjust the display mode for this one. Get it as clean as I like it. Daito. Anyway, you get the idea. This is Mr. MegaManFan, and now you can play the EverDrive 64 on your Analogue 3D. Thanks for watching.